Okay. In three, two, one. Hello and welcome to the Juice Podcast. This is where we learn how ordinary people can turn the struggles and hardships of life and turn it into something amazing. I'm your host, Jose Peña, and with my co-host.
What up? Eman here.
Hey, Eman. How are you doing today, man?
Meh, I guess. Nothing good or out of the ordinary, really. A bit with the flu, but still kicking. Could be
Still
worse.
kicking. At least it's not like the bad flu, you know?
Yeah. The flu that shall not be named.
No, it shall not be named.
Hmm.
And today we have our good friend, our good guest here today, Dan. Hey, Dan.
Hey, what's up, JM? Thanks for having me, man.
Sure, man. Thank you
Yeah.
also for your time,
No problem.
and I
no
know
problem.
that your schedule is like really busy, but thank you.
Yeah. And Eamon is also here. What's up, man? How you doing? I guess
Again,
everybody.
pretty
Yeah.
meh.
I guess everybody's catching the flu, huh? Eesh.
Yeah.
It's not bad either. Yes.
Cold
I
weather
mean,
for months.
Yeah. Christmas music in the distance.
Really? Oh yeah,
I
I
could-
forgot. It's what they call like the Burr month, right?
Yeah, the Burr months.
Oh, okay.
Samurai Chan is calling.
Yep.
He has awakened.
And for those who don't know, Dan, can you explain some parts of your life or some parts of who you are?
Okay. No problem. But I'll probably
Introduce
start with
yourself.
yeah, thanks. Hi guys. My name is Francis Dulfo. So a good friend of JM. I think before he switched to another school. Yeah, he was in San Ag before. I met him through my sister, Thea Dulfo as well. She's part of LT, which I think she also introduced me to JM as well. But I got to know you, JM, specifically because I think you
Mhm.
asked me if I wanted the DM for a Discord group. So I was like,
Hey.
hey, yeah, sure. I could do that. I could take a shot at it. Right. And I guess that's where we are right now. um, yeah. For the second time, my name is Francis Dugo. I also
Mhm.
go to San Agustin. I take mechanical
Hey.
engineering as a course. And yeah,
That's good.
that's pretty much it. Nothing special.
So how's mechanical treating you right now?
If I'm being honest with you, kind of don't want to answer that question. I don't want to throw any unnecessary shade to where I'm going to school at, but
Uh, we're
let's
not
just say
gonna
it's
hear this.
yeah, probably, but
Oh
okay.
man, a man of sheer patience.
It's not good. It's not bad either. It's
Mm.
just in between, but it's leaning towards another side. If you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you'd
Yeah, I
expect
would
a
say it's
lot.
like a pretty man the week.
Yeah,
Basically.
it's been a mere week, honestly.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you just started me- mechanical engineering or
Yeah. I just started. I'm an incoming first year college,
mm,
and I guess we're in our. I don't know if it's like a second sem or. I really don't know. The schedule is kind of confusing at
pretty
first.
messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty messed up.
I heard that
But
due
Mhm.
to the pandemic and stuff, like schedules are like really confusing right now,
yeah,
especially
because
for the incoming like colleges, right?
yeah, yeah, because there is I think a deciding factor because a lot of the students would want a face to face or a limited face to face classes, and they're trying to
Mm.
petition for it. But I guess
Oh, you guys are petitioning for it, huh?
yeah, there's like forums going on in GCs to to sign to put your name in for um the limited face-to-face classes and all of that. As well as students can't really, I guess I wouldn't really say that can't, but they don't mm, they don't really have a knack for this online thing. So I guess that's why the students are doing this.
Yeah, I feel yeah, especially for the medical courses here. Like
That's
it's
has
really hard.
that's been a debate going on in a lot of different platforms. Like, oh, you're gonna do surgery? Sure, let me just search Quizlet. I don't know how to
Oh,
do this, but maybe yeah. Oh my god, I've seen
that one
so
I
much.
heard a lot.
My god, dude. And there was
Oh
this like
my goodness.
popular Filipino TikToker, and there's like a video of him going, "Ay ma'am, sir, andali lang, tingnan ko lang po sa Google kung ano pong iaanin sa'yo." So it was kind of, yeah, it's kind of satire at most, but it was funny. Yeah, it was.
Oh my goodness. Like imagine right now online classes like the future medical personnel's like right now online class setting their patient are like stuffed animals. And imagine like when they face the real stuff, imagine how they're gonna do patients, how they would
Yeah,
treat the patients,
yeah, yeah,
especially like from stuffed animal to like real life human beings. Like, come on, who
yeah.
would want that? Who would want that?
Yeah. I guess that's a fair take in the online thing,
Yeah,
but I guess you can't really. I think you can't really go into being a doctor without having some sort of training. So I guess they're not gonna take account for the fact that okay, so you graduated college of maybe 5 years in
hmm
nursing, in pharma, in medtech, just through online. But for me, I think at one point you're going to have to do some kind of hands-on activity to prove that you are capable of having that kind of profession. So I guess even companies wouldn't be that stupid, or even hospitals wouldn't be that stupid to take in, for example, an employee or an incoming doctor without having to
right, right.
see, yeah, like I guess 3 to 4 years of house thing. I forgot the term about that, but they have this like they have this like timeline of how much years you should um, implement in each areas to be a certified doctor. So
Like
I get the hope.
residency, something like that.
Yeah, the hotel residency. I mean, there's even like I don't know if it's real or not, but I heard like if you become like a doctor, so supposedly there's like
hmm
a timeline of 2 years where you don't get paid and you only have to do like volunteer work.
Volunteer work.
Yeah, and then even if you do the volunteer work to up your experience, they're gonna get mad at you because you're not certified yet. So there's like that whole back and forth thing. Like, okay, I want experience. Okay,
Uh,
go do something about it. Okay, sure, I'll do that. When you do something about it, hey, what are you doing here? You don't have any experience. Go back. So it's just like a
right.
back and forth, like a ping pong thing.
Oh my
But
goodness. Like
I got
the medical situation here is like, come on, get your together, man.
yeah, I mean, speaking of like medical, yeah, yeah, just the medical frontiers are what's the proper term for this so that I wouldn't say anything that's bad, but they're not mistreated, but they're not being utilized to their fullest. There we go. Yeah, they're not being
Yes.
utilized to their. So maybe I
Like,
could understand why some people are still
yeah,
taking up the course that they want. Maybe it's like a childhood dream, a dream job, perhaps.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it runs in the family, but yeah, I guess that's that.
Really like it's really hard, especially for like especially medical students or students in general to have like still have the motivation to do kind to do of these like courses like the motivation, the inspiration, it's really different from where you have the face to face compared to like the online setting. Because it's really hard to get motivation, inspiration, and for me, it's not more of a inspiration, more per se. It's more of the purpose. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah. I got you there.
Purpose.
it's
For
it's more of the purpose of like it really drives what you really want to be. If you want to be like a nurse, you should have this mindset of like, all right, what does what is the purpose of the nurse, or what is the purpose of an engineer? So you should really like have that kind of mindset and think of what you really want. And I would say that the inspiration and the motivation will come with it, you know.
mm, that makes sense. The willpower to wake up every day to go, you know, do these kinds of things, like going into nursing.
Exactly.
I know. I mean, I
Exactly.
for myself understand just how terrifyingly, painstakingly, and just the amount of workload that those students who take up nurse probably like also engineering. Actually, the majority of the college, right?
Yeah,
And
college life.
yeah, and just the amount of, I guess, motivation or inspiration or yeah, just
Mm,
plain out, I guess, survivability for me, right?
mm,
It's
mm,
like you can't really just keep continuing something that you don't really like. I mean, some do, right? A lot
mm.
of people do these kinds of things where they just keep pushing forward because they find something at the end of that struggle, right? They
Yeah.
find something worthwhile to put effort, to put the tears, to put the blood, to put the sweat in it, And does motivation, inspiration really come towards that goal?
Mm,
Maybe. Does
probably.
purpose have some kind of effect on that? Well, absolute, because I don't understand anyone who probably just does things because he wants to. There has to be some kind of thing backing him up, right?
Yeah. There should be
Yeah,
something. There should be something.
should be some.
Like
Oh,
like a course that's something that you want without its foundation. It's not really an ideal course that you should have. It's more of like when you have that course that you don't like, it feels more of a drag rather than
yes,
a joy,
yes, yes.
you know?
Yeah, but yeah, as well as like, there are situations where some people take the course that they don't want because of outside factors like um peer pressure, um family pressure as well. I think that's a thing.
Hmm.
Where the 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 child is forced to take a specific kind of course just because their parents want to. It's a battle between whether what you want and what it needs or what the family needs.
Mm,
It's
right.
happening a lot.
Like,
Which one has the highest pay? Which one
yeah,
has more opportunities in the future? What course will land you the fastest on the job? A lot of
yeah,
those factors could come in. Is it to support the family? Is it personal goal? Is it like a self-consuming idea that maybe one day you'll be successful and land that dream
yeah.
job you want?
Hmm.
It's all these little things that make the difference, right? But I guess
Yeah,
again, it all boils down to the purpose, right?
exactly. Like, it's ironic for me to hear, like, especially when, those times when the teacher, like, first meets the class and
Yeah,
the teacher would ask, like, oh, why did you get this course? Or why did you take this course? Etc. etc. And majority of mine is I wouldn't say like the whole, but more or less you would hear the reason of, oh, because this course is a high paying job. This course will get me to somewhere else rather than here because this place is, really bad. It pays low. So that motivation, I would say it's a good motivation only for a short term.
Yeah.
It's not a long term goal that you should have. But
Sure.
the stories that I hear from those kind of people that I've talked to is that the more that they're exposed in this kind of course or like job, the more that they love it, you know.
Oh,
And
isn't that just like forced? Wow.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Oh
those
my
those kind
god.
of people, you know.
Jeez, man. Like, okay, I hate this kind of thing. But maybe if I do it often, I'd love it. Oh my god.
Oh
Wait,
yeah.
that's so wow, that's brutal,
I
dude. That is
I
so
mean, for me,
brutal.
for me in my kind of course,
Yeah.
like I don't know, during third year and the later parts of third year, we started having heavier courses, like we were going to theoreticals and all that jazz.
Mm.
And a few months ago, we were doing a comprehensive exam on the one of the requirement exams you have in the future. And I'll tell you, bro, it was no picnic.
No, of
But
course.
yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah.
my.
But still, I would also say that I enjoyed some subjects. It really lightened up my, my
Yes.
appreciation for my course, because there's only a few niche subjects that I like and are actually quite applicable. Like next year, I'll be having a geopolitics subject, which I'm really looking forward for. And there's
Oh.
another subject. I will not name it because I'll be canceled if I said it out loud.
Oh,
That
is it the G? Oh, okay. I know. Is it that one?
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
Okay,
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Like I am not looking forward to that course,
Okay, I see.
subject, because it's
Yeah.
quite impractical considering my line of my expertise. I am a future diplomat. I don't need this kind of stuff in my
yeah.
studies. But
Yep.
then again, good things don't come easy. And besides,
Mm.
people often complain and often confuse simple with easy. Simple isn't easy. Simple is doable. It can be
True.
done.
Mm.
So yeah, like again, there's always a lightning in the tunnel. You haven't really done anything if you refuse to do anything to begin with. So yeah,
The first step to
just try to
solving a
do it.
problem is knowing there is one. Okay. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Ah.
No. I disagree with that, because identifying the problem is knowing the problem. If you know a problem is there but refuse to do anything about it, then you're not solving anything.
Hmm.
Action,
Mm.
if you ask me, action is what solves a problem. If
Yeah.
you refuse to act, anyone can identify, but only few act.
Yes. That's why it's the first step. Nothing really much, but yeah. It's the action that probably proves everything else wrong. Or right.
Yeah,
Or even
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
middle.
Like speaking of like inspiration, what drive you then to have mechanical engineering as a course?
Oh my god, this is gonna be a story. Oh no.
Oh
All right,
boy.
yeah. All right.
All right.
Oh, me. I don't really take this kinds of things into account. Like I
Uh,
don't really care about it. Do you feel me? Like
yeah, yeah.
like a lot of people are like, oh my god, I'm gonna get this course because it's my dream job. I've had it since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was
Oh
just like,
man.
what, playing dirt, eating worms, bro. That's an exaggeration, by the way, right?
Yeah.
And my way of thinking before is that why would I get a job if I could just get the job? You know?
Oh.
So that kind of backfired on me because now I don't really know what I'm gonna do, right? Like,
Mm.
like where do I go? How do I move forward with this kind of thing, right? And
Yeah.
it was at least, no, not at least, but I think it was 2 months before my final year of grade 12. So
Mm.
it was like a very busy month because a lot of or my classmates at least, or a lot of the students were like preparing to go to this school because that's what they're, that's what um, that's the school that specializes in the course they want. Like
Uh-huh.
they have to apply for things. They have to get this kind of ID. The paperwork.
Yeah.
So me being me, I was like, wait, what's going on? A lot of people are like panicking. They're like happy. They're like sad. I don't know. Like I don't know what's going on. What's happening? And then finally, wait, I was walking around the school, I think, and my friends were there, like my classmates. They had like this paper saying, okay, they're gonna take this course, they're gonna take that course. I was like, oh, that's nice. And I asked one of them like, hey, why do you want this course? And they're like, it's because it's the easiest to get into a job to after you're done. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty fair. So at the end of that day, I searched what would be the top paying jobs around the world, right?
Hmm.
Number one being a physical therapist, if I remember. Number two would be like a chemist, I think, or a chemistry something, I
Yeah,
forgot.
yeah.
And then I saw number 14, it was mechanical engineering, and number 15, civil engineering. So I was like,
Oh.
a majority of my classmates are taking mechanical engineering. So you know what? Maybe I'll take that too. So that's
Oh no.
oh my lord. Oh, like it was that. So me talking about peer pressure and all of that, it's not really pressure. I was like,
Did it work?
no, I don't really get that kind of thing, like the peer pressure thing. I just do me. But
Uh-huh.
like at that point, I was like, I don't really have anything to do, so why not just follow, you know? So that's
Mhm.
what I did. That's why I took that course. And speaking of inspiration, going into this kinds of this kind of course,
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't really bring anything up to be inspired to do it. I just do it because I have to do it. That's I guess like you could call that an inspiration if you want.
Mhm. So what motivated you to do it? Like, was there any people in your life that say like, "Hey, mechanical engineering sounds nice. Should do it." Something like that.
No, what motivated me was that number 14.
At number 14.
Top
Why
14
number
high
14 though? From all the numbers, like from all the courses
because
that you looked at,
yeah,
physical
because
therapist is a good one.
yeah, it was because it was physical therapist was number one paying job in the world. When I saw that number 14, mechanical engineering, that's why it's number 14. Sure,
All right. I have a question, a personal question, if I may, if you're willing.
sure.
Do you think becoming a fully grad, like again, mechanical engineer, do you think you'd find, in a way, your sense of purpose? Because this is also a major problem that most people tend to forget when they get to a college course. They often do it. They often take the course and don't really like look on the
Utilize it.
greater picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no, the greater picture of it. Once
Ah,
you
I see.
graduate, do you feel like you're doing something? You're doing a difference to someone else's life? Do you feel like you're actually doing a purpose? So, would you?
I
Like
think no.
again, you're becoming a mechanical engineer. Of course, you're doing your research on people who already are mechanical engineers. Do you think you could make an impact?
I mean, that's what a lot of people might think, right? That they could make an impact, but realistically speaking, like for me, I don't know, man. Like a lot of people here are diamond. They're like quarters. They're not even. We're not special. That's what I think. We're not special to make that much of a difference.
Okay,
Um,
but
but yeah, but finding that purpose, if going into this course, I don't think I'll be able to do it that well. I think it's gonna take a long, long time, right? Because I do understand that when you say like when people take this course, they do it away from it and choose something else differently or
Yeah.
completely entirely. And I guess that happens because during that time they probably realized something that wasn't that wasn't it. It's not for me. Even despite finishing it, that's not for me. Right? And the thing about that is that so ironic, so ironic that it's only when after graduating is that you get some sort of glimpse, some kind of eureka moment, even just for a
Yeah.
second, to think that, hey, why did I do that? Why did I spend 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years? No, 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 10 years, like max 7 years in
More or
college
less.
for what? Yeah, for what? Okay, sure, I can become a doctor, but that takes time as well. Another round of books, another round of studying, another round of interview, or another round of research, so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And if I mean, I heard that the K to 12 was responsible for that, for minimizing the effect of these things that's happening in college, right?
Mm.
But it didn't. It never did. It just added more subjects to it. People don't realize that, but it's just a repetition of the same subject, but on a higher tier.
Mm.
So when you finally go into college, when you finally take a specialized course, like the subjects you're about to take
Yeah.
are strictly for your course, that's when you realize, for me, that's when you realize that whether you have a grasp for it, whether you have a knack for it, or whether you have some sort of capability in doing it. Because people can be born with ungodly mathematical
Oh yeah.
genius levelness, but then they go to art. You know, some people might be born with, I don't know, like that doesn't have the talent for math, but is a physicist at the end of the day.
Right. Right.
So it's that it's that one thing. It has to be some kind of moment, a spark that could lead it to that. And to answer Eamon's question, do I see the bigger picture? I really don't. I'm stuck here, bro. Someone help me. Just kidding. Yeah, I guess.
I understand. Like for me, I know the role my course can give me. Like I have a vague idea, but then again, I can't really speak for myself in that position until I am in that position. So
Yeah.
then again, I guess yeah, um, you are right in that factor. But then again, we have to find a way of purpose in order to do this stuff. Because then again, if we're just doing this for money and we don't like see any greater purpose for what we're doing, we ended up just feeling empty inside, and that's what most college students who freshly graduate
Mm.
often feel. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like
But the question, yeah,
it's like it's either your parents poured a lot of money into it, or you worked your ass off just to
yeah,
get
Right.
the money to pay for your tuition. You
mm,
graduate, but then you found out you hate the job that you were
Right.
so passionate about joining, and that's the sad
yeah,
part. Like it's a problem that most people don't know exists.
Right.
yeah. Especially that parent thing where there you're or some students parent a lot of money into that course for you to graduate, and then when you finally graduate, or even during taking that course, you feel this like not like you feel this like guilt that if I don't finish this, the amount of resources they kind of so-called wasted on me or poured into me or invested in me would be gone to waste, right? And those
Yeah.
Exactly.
factors just really destroy the
Mm,
the process of finding that, probably.
yeah. Or yeah, like or what I said earlier. You have the passion to do it, but then the passion dies slowly.
Yeah,
Ugh, that's the worst.
yeah, it kills you, brother. It kills you and your
Mm-hmm.
and your
Mm-hmm.
passion.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's important to find a purpose more than just short-sighted, and short time relief.
Yeah.
but
Like.
but the real question is, right, why does it take so long? Why did it have to wait for that long to just pop up? You know, that's so I don't know, that's so annoying in a sense, right? So
People
uh,
aren't
it's
perfect.
infuriating. Yeah,
Yeah. like
Because then
what
again,
Jordan Peterson said, like you can't solve a problem until you see that it is a problem,
See, that makes sense. Makes sense.
right?
Yeah,
mm,
that makes sense.
mm,
Yeah, you just
And
can't really do
and
anything. But
speaking from like problems and stuff, you know, we went through a friendship through Dungeons and Dragons,
yeah.
right? Right,
Mhm.
man. So how
Yeah.
did Dungeons and Dragons influence the way you live?
Oh my lord.
From like everyday problems that we face. It's kind of similar to what Dungeons and Dragons has to offer, because everything that you do in a snap doesn't equate to what you have written in your stories. So
Yeah.
how did Dungeons and Dragons help you in your like struggles of life per se?
I mean, I guess it just showed me that, um, I mean, just a quick trivia. Dungeons and Dragons is an RPG tabletop role playing game that lets
Mhm.
you be anything you want, from an elf, even a goblin, I think, yeah, to a heroic knight, an evil caster, a wizard, so on and so forth. That mystical stuff, right? And within that game, there's what we call the dungeon master. So the dungeon master creates this world or so-called setting for the players to play in. So he can throw in like enemies, social problems, and
Dragon.
yeah, it's up to the players to solve it. So in that sense, life is essentially just the D&D game. Yeah, like, okay, here's a
It is.
problem, solve it. Well, sure. And there's so many ways that you could find to solve that specific problem. There's
Mhm.
creative ways to do it. Like, I mean, you can't just burn the whole town just because someone looked at you wrong. But that just happens in D&D, right? You can't do that really in real life. No, you can't do that, right? But
Yeah,
yeah, it helps you realize that if things don't go your way, it's fine. Try to get it next time. If the next time
mhm,
doesn't work, maybe take a little break. Maybe clear your mind. Maybe you will see it if you just sit down, rest. Maybe do something, do something else. Maybe that would open up things, just like in D&D. After a fight, you rest, and then do it all over again tomorrow. But the difference
mhm.
is that one minuscule detail that you face a different problem every day. And then the way you
Exactly.
solve it is also in a different way. You can't just stick to one solution to every problem. That's not how it works. Right?
Mhm.
There are some things that may be compatible with that. There are some things that are not compatible. The normal thing. So yeah, it's D&D in life. You just have to expect the unexpected and not burn down towns
Exactly.
just because someone looked at you wrong.
I could
Yeah.
see Iman doing that one.
mm. Yeah, I'm not that destructive.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I have a bit of anger issues, but I'm not that destructive. All
Exactly.
right.
Right?
I have another question regarding D&D. Considering you are a seasoned, I would say seasoned,
Seasoned
D&D,
veteran.
yeah, no, seasoned game master.
Game master. Yeah.
What's your opinion on the company that owns D&D? I forgot the name.
Wizards of the
Going
Coast.
full.
Is it Wizards
I
of the
thought.
Coast? Wait.
I know. I thought Wizard of the Coast was a gathering, but
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
just say, like, I'm sure you've heard on the slow politicization of D&D.
Oh.
Like, you've heard
Ooh.
of it, right?
Oh,
I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
won't
There's a
I won't
problem.
get in detail, but you
Yeah.
know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what's your opinion on that? Do you think it ruins like the grim dark setting of fantasy that D&D has by bringing in quote unquote modern values into a game that's not supposed to be even set in the modern era?
Hmm.
Mm,
I mean, that's the thing
good
about D&D.
question.
Yeah, that's the thing about D&D. You can do whatever you want, just as long as the DM allows it or not, right? But again,
Mm.
from what JM said, or what he quoted from, what's his name again? Sorry, I'm not really good with
Jordan
names.
Jordan
Peterson, was it?
Peter.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson, right? Um, what was that again? To identify a problem, you must know it is
You
a
can't
problem.
solve a
Yeah, there we go.
problem until you see it is a problem.
Yeah, see that's how it works. If people find it a problem, then play a different, play a different set of D&D. Go for 3.5. Go for 5e, right? I mean,
Mm,
it doesn't. You don't have to strictly apply your game to the newest version of Dungeons and Dragons, right?
mhm.
But I guess since it was implemented by the company that owns Dungeons and Dragons, I guess maybe a lot of people are also willing to play it, right? They might have found some kind of new adventure type in that, but I guess it just boils down to what the people like. In my opinion, that yeah, it just boils down to what people find
I see,
fun.
I see.
Yeah,
But do you think it ruins the soul of the game? Because again, a lot of people who played in Dungeons and Dragons think that these new changes would bring in people who don't know what the game is all about. What's your opinion on that?
oh, that's just for
Oh,
that's just for I don't know. I kind of think that like that's just for people who like gatekeep the game. Like those
the
are the type of
purist.
people. Yeah, like they're like, oh my god,
Ah, so
you can't.
you
Yeah,
don't consider yourself a devotee.
I mean, not really. I'm not really up for like the strangling rules. Like it's a game where they decide what to do, not me. You know,
I
I'm
see.
just a guy that throws
Uh,
in the monsters for them to slay.
I see.
But
I see.
Mm, yeah, there's just I guess people who kind of gatekeep the game. They're like, you can't do that because like, that's not in the rule book. Like that kind of people, like that type of
Mm.
people.
uh,
It, but no, I don't think it ruins the soul of the game. I think it just adds a little extra spice to it. That's all.
yeah.
That's really all. Yeah,
And I
I see. I
see
see. I
like
see.
Dungeons and Dragons is a game of freedom, I would say.
yeah. Such
A game of freedom where you can be whatever you want, whoever you want to be. Be it like if you're a guy, you can be a girl.
hell
You
yeah.
can be anything you can want.
Uh huh.
Hmm.
You know? And
Yeah.
it, it it does not limit people from whatever they're choosing. It's it's a liberty and it gives them a door to express themselves even if they can't really express themselves in real life. They could
Exactly.
express themselves through a game where they feel that they're in control. They they rely on something of like, luck or fate, whatever you want to say it. But everything depends on the roll of the dice. And I would say that Dungeons and Dragons really do reflect what life per se gives us. And whatever throws at your door, especially for the DM, you have to solve that problem. And again, see that the problem is not being solved creates a much more bigger problem where we really don't have a gauge of whether we want to move on from it or really to fix that problem. And especially for right now, you don't really have that kind of motivation now. You know, we're all like secluded in our own houses. We're all being forced on things that we shouldn't be forced on because everything is so close. And I think Dungeons and Dragons really gives that expression, that release, you know, to people who feels those kind of pressure.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It makes them feel at home, makes them
Yeah,
feel comfortable about themselves. That's why it's it's a good game. It
it's
helps
a really
people
good game.
realize good game.
Mhm.
Just
And
makes things better.
yeah, and the one thing that I really learned from Dungeons and Dragons is that once you do it, it can never be undone.
Yeah. Bro. Once you enter the game, that's all
Uh
you'll be playing. I'm just kidding, but yeah, it's just
huh.
it's addicting. It's addicting to
It is. It is very addicting, and
because
especially for players, it's very addicting. But for DMs,
my
it's a whole
God,
new
for DM,
level, man.
it's for DMs. I don't know about that. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
But
because
again,
again,
inspiration,
yeah.
motivation. What was your actually? What was your inspiration of like doing Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, uh, I was introduced to the game by a close friend of my sister again. Uh, yeah,
Your sister has good friends.
very, very good friends actually. Yeah. And then she introduced us to the world of Dungeons and Dragons by her father. And
Mm,
after that, it's just a long history of playing Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, it's just the it's not really an inspiration, but it's like the need to do it. You know, like
uh,
damn, like if it's like that feeling where you read a really good book,
yeah.
right? You play a really good game, and then you can do it again tomorrow. That's how it's that's like D&D for me, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, oh yeah, I could do this tomorrow. Like, yeah, there's D&D. It's just the the game itself doesn't need any sort of inspiration. It's just there for you. That's the thing for it. You can play it anywhere, anytime,
Yeah.
with any amount of people if you want, with strangers, with people you're close with. With like it's meant for everyone, basically.
Mhm. It is escapism, like most people
Yeah,
would say, right? It's a
yeah, it's
perfect form of escapism.
yeah, it's a paper. Yeah, it's definitely a perfect form of escapism because yeah, some people can. Well, I don't know, but I'm not here to assume. But some people can face reality themselves. That's why they escape to a different world, and D&D perfectly envelops that idea. You're in
Yeah.
a new
True.
world, a different you,
Mm-hmm.
a different
Mm-hmm.
characteristic, different personality, different everything.
Mm-hmm.
And in
Mm-hmm.
that world, you can do anything you want, anything you want,
Mm-hmm.
everything you want,
Exactly.
without any consequences. Well, there would be, but it's not as punishing to real life.
Damaging. It's not
Yeah,
Yeah.
damaging in the real world, unless
true.
it
Yeah,
ruins your friendship, which it can.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
I see. Okay,
We know some.
yeah, we know something. We know a little something. Uh,
It's like playing
Especially
Uno.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Oh
my
my.
goodness. Oh no. Especially for Eman, like I introduced D&D. Um, I introduced D&D to you, right, Eman?
I played Dungeons and Dragons, at least not in this kind of setup, to a friend of mine. But it
Uh,
was never one of those hour-long sessions. It was
uh,
relatively quick, like one boss, kill it, that kind of
Oh,
stuff. I never really went to full campaigns. You introduced me to campaigning.
hey.
uh. And how did it feel?
D&D. It felt
Yeah, D&D
like,
3.
again, it felt like I was invincible. Like, again, my first character was, again, I'm pretty sure I have this established. I'm a history geek. So
Yeah.
I based my character on one of the legendary soldiers in history. And in all honesty, considering my set of abilities and another way I play my character, I simply felt invincible. I felt much more competent than I really am in no, in the real world. And it's the same thing with video games. It gives you a whole different persona. It gives you a blank slate to follow, and no one can judge you for that. I know that I agree. However, if you ask me, the main thing that ruins D&D is people trying to remove the escapism aspect of it. Like they bring
Uh,
in real world problems into it just to feel quote unquote morally superior than the other.
Uh-huh.
Instead of like actually like, being productive to the story, they just do it just for again virtue signaling. That's what I hate.
so,
Mm.
Like for
Ruins
me,
the
D and
gameplay.
D is a game where it's not supposed to be mirroring our real world. It's a completely different world to begin with, where I don't know where the problems and the consequences of the old world mean nothing here. However, there will be those people who want to, mold the world into their own image. They want peace, but in their own
Uh-huh.
image, and that's the most demented part that I hate.
yes,
I could see that. Yeah, I could see
hmm
that.
Like again, I got nothing wrong if I got nothing wrong if it actually adds to the character and if it actually again makes it fun.
Yeah.
But again, if you ruin the feel of a game, again, I'm sorry to sound very conservative in this matter, because again, it the main reason why people are drawn into this game is the world building itself. If
Mm.
you try
I
to
agree.
make it try to fit our world, it no longer is the world people want to escape to. You're just making it into a funny mirror version of our world.
Comedy.
like a parallel version of the same person but different setting, essentially.
Those fun house mirrors, right? That
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're trying to make the D&D world into that. That I don't like. But then again, I do agree with Dan as long as it invites people in, it's fine. Again, more players in a game, no matter what kind it is, a TTRPG, an FPS or a
Yeah.
MOBA, it's healthy for the game. However, corporate tends to do stupid
Yes.
things.
Business. Yes. Business.
hmm
All business. Yeah.
Oh
hmm
my god.
Well said.
And especially for DMs, were there any mistakes that you encountered and could have avoided?
Absolutely.
It's
In our first,
unavoidable, don't
yeah,
it?
it's unavoidable. In my first campaign, I think
Uh-huh.
Eman knows this very well. Two of my
hmm
players died.
Ah, yeah, of course. One of the
Of
rotting
course.
corpses is
To
in a
your
gunny
death.
sack.
I mean, yeah, but is it? Is it? Yeah, that's the thing about D&D. Like, you make a mistake, okay, sure, you move on. It could be reversed, perhaps.
Yeah, there's a
Uh,
consequence, but it's
yeah, there's
not
a
too
con.
damaging.
Yeah, exactly, right. And
hmm
I guess a majority of people don't really just, yeah, they don't reverse the mistake. They just take it into account that, okay, it's part of the game, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I can't do anything about it. It's just part of the game. It adds the fun aspect to it, right? Like,
Yeah.
what would be the point of an RPG role playing game if you have a script, right? Like, you're
Mm.
just rehearsing it essentially. You're just acting out what's already written. Then it is to just go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. If this guy dies, okay, he's dead. You can just make a new character. I feel so guilty now. I'm sorry. Oh
Hey,
God.
it costs nothing. It costs nothing to make
It
or to
costs
make a new
nothing.
character, anyways.
Sure. Yeah. Oh my. But yeah, I guess that's it. But were there a mistake? Oh yeah, there was a mistake that I kind of done that. Oh, I want to reverse so bad. I
How
think
how f- how did you feel about that?
it was like it was like a oh shit moment, like you thought it was gonna go all the way. You're like, okay, I'm such
Yeah.
a genius. This is gonna work so good. And then at the point in time where you play, you're like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, that's not how this goes. And then the next move later,
Exactly.
wait a minute, that's not how this goes. And then the next turn, oh my god, that's not how it goes. And then
That's
it
not the
keeps
script.
that's not how it goes. No, 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 no. And it
It's
just
like
keeps
that scene
Yeah.
in Robin
spiraling
Hood,
down.
Man
Yes,
in Tights.
right.
I lost. I lost. Give me the script.
Exactly, right. Oh my god, it's just gonna keep spiraling down to a point where
uh,
like, oh god, what should I do about this?
yeah.
And of course, you're just there. But I guess what kind of gives it okay, I could do this kind of moment is that the players are having fun. That's what's most important to me.
Uh,
That they
right.
got to experience something that could be worthwhile. But yeah, definitely oh shit moment just for me.
And how did the DMing part like relates to you?
Oh yeah, for me essentially, I really like making stories. Like I kind of, I don't know if yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this, but like daydreaming about events that could unfold in my life that would be
Uh-huh.
badass. Would be cool. Like you imagine
Yeah.
yourself
Uh-huh.
being like a superhero just punching the crap out of this giant ass monster, right? Or like any romance
Satisfaction.
anime, right? You have your high school childhood friend, your confess, that kind of stuff. That little
Yeah.
itty bitty stuff, right? It changed because I can actually act it out. I can actually be there. I could actually give this setting, this kind of story to people who are willing to play it. And what adds on to that satisfaction is that what you think wouldn't turn out turned out to be better, right?
Ah,
You think
yeah.
that, oh my God, this is the best story ever. And then someone just comes to prove you no, there has to be something better. And that for me is a good feeling because that eliminates the fact that you are the best, that
Mhm.
there is nothing more that could make this better. But there is. And that's really good. For me.
Yeah. And it really like correlates to real life too as well. And where you have something planned out, especially if you have like life goals. Or, example, if you want to be a nurse, let's take that example. And you study a lot, you prepared a lot, and one day this person might say like, "Hey, you're not gonna be a nurse. You're not gonna be like a person that you're gonna be in the future," and it really takes a toll on you morally, and it really brings you down, and it relates to what you have said that people will always try to break whatever you have planned, and they will try to test it on you, see if how you as a character would feel and how you would develop, and
True.
and how DMing and like goals that you have relates is where you have a set of plans, right? You created the story, you know what's gonna go, how every monster or how every like player should, quote unquote, should do. And when it comes to the actual part of it, everything will just like stumble, and every plan that you have written out will not go as to plan. But the job of the DM, I would say, is that you try to revert that and try to bring and adjust everything that you have written into that story. And it really comes true to life and how you extract those values that you have learned through this game, where you take your own goal in life and you would say that you have to adjust to every struggle that you have been through, you know It's not always a plan of action like, hey, I want to do this. I can get that. Hey, I have this money. I could buy that iPhone. It's not always a easy step to make because there's always those people. Man, those people will always try to test you and try to break you apart because they see that, oh, I could take that monster.
Oh yeah, if this was D&D and that
Yeah,
person came across you, you'd probably just stab
yeah,
him.
yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
know how it goes into that circle, and your part as the overseer of your own story. You should see what you're gonna do and realize the part that, okay, there will be people that will break me and will try to test me. Let me see how I could develop that. Let me see how I could be that person, the lowest part of me, and try to bring myself to a better version of myself. Now I could be a better person, or I have like set my goal to, you know, and
Yeah.
that's how really it's important to be like that,
Yeah, but like, you
especially for
know, true,
Dungeons
true,
and
true, true.
Dragons.
Not only in D&D, right? But like if someone walks up to you and says it's like, hey, you're not gonna be in there. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna show you I'm gonna be in there. You know? But sometimes, yeah, it doesn't work out the way it's supposed to, and you're supposed to
Uh-huh.
adjust these kinds of things. But not so much that you have to destroy what you initially planned out, right? That's
Uh-huh.
why life goal number no life advice number one: never have a life planner because you can never know what's gonna turn up, right? And if your goal is to become a type of person or a specific type of person, then who's
Yeah.
stopping you, right? You have this outside factors telling you that, but what they're gonna do? What are they gonna do?
Uh-huh.
Nothing, right? Like, sure, they're gonna hold you back a little bit, but does that stop you? No. Will that stop
Mm.
you? It's up to you, right? And if
Yeah.
people get the satisfaction of seeing you go down with them, you're the one coming back up. But then, what will they do? Follow you again? Fall back down?
Yeah.
You can just keep going up and up and up and up. But again, sometimes you gotta just lay there for a couple of minutes,
Hmm.
assess the situation, again, adjust, and then get back up again.
Exactly.
But it might, it just be might, it's just put into words that it might sound easy, but it's actually very hard to do so. Right?
You know what's the most cliche about that one is
What?
that the person, the things that we have said, like, oh, I would want to do this, you should do that. And the most like the hardest thing to do is to do that.
Yeah.
I've encountered those, like, especially for the podcast when I recorded like my things that I want to say and how I should do that. And and when I experience those kinds of situation, and my friends would say like, "Hey, you know what? You could have done that. You could have like do what you have said."
Yeah,
And I
all
would
could have,
say,
man.
"Yeah, you could have. I could have." But it 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 is a process of how we're gonna do it, and it's really hard for you to like do it immediately. Like, okay, I was that person back then, but now I know what I'm going to do, and I've realized that the important take on that is you should realize what you have done as much as possible early and try to improve on it, and don't backstab yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, like I always say, right? Um, improvement is inevitable, So it might seem small now, but maybe later on it's going to be big,
True.
right? And again, if people keep pulling you down, my God, shove them away. Just kidding. Yeah, it's just how it works, man. But
I mean, if you can, try talking to them. But if they can't, I don't know. But if they refuse again to talk, there's no point going to continue on like Jesus. So you'd be surprised how petty people can get, right?
yeah,
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's also to take in account that maybe they have their goals too, and you're probably getting in the way of that. But again, it's just
How? Again,
who's.
how exactly?
I mean, yeah, there's a systematical value in that, right? I guess, and I know
Mm,
everyone here knows that, right?
Yeah.
mm,
Who is top one, who's top two, top three? It's a systematical error we have in our education that I would just like to point out here a lot of the time, that we put value in the amount of work we are able to do in a short amount of period than the amount of quality work we could do in the long term. So
Mm.
people only see these values, this GPA of one, as some sort of ticket into, let's say, a company, for example, right? And to
Yeah.
explain it to you, Eamon, how is
mm,
because there can only be one person to be at the top. That's what's faulty around here. And if you can't be the one at the top, people are gonna try to do it. You know, that's why.
mm. The
That's
whole
why.
crab mentality thing.
Yeah, the whole crab mentality thing applies to that, but at a bigger at a bigger rate. It's not just a
Mm.
bucket of crabs. It's a
Ocean.
whole it's a whole ocean of it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even about getting out of the ocean. It's who can cross it first, which
Mm.
is ironic because you'll never leave that place anyway. So why are you trying? Why are you trying to bring people down? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
like
kind of that.
literally makes no
Yeah, it doesn't
it
make
makes
sense.
no logical sense, like economic or logical sense,
Social.
because
Yeah.
why should you be jealous of someone succeeding and you two, or who are likely to succeed but end up not succeeding because you're spending all your time and energy in trying to make sure another man
Yeah.
doesn't reach their goal? It makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's where the
Yeah.
the crab
The guy
mentality
probably
comes
doesn't even
in.
know you. The guy probably doesn't even know you exist. So
Yeah,
why bother,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, that's so sad too. Like you tried your best, you tried everything you could, but then he's like, "Huh? What are you talking about? I don't know who you are."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Like he
yeah,
starts
yeah,
making the whole anime protagonist speech,
yeah.
and he
Yes.
replies with the Thanos, "I don't even know who you are."
Oh yeah. Oh my. Yeah, exactly. Right. So
Yeah, like Jesus.
we could just take
This
that
is
analogy
why we should let people be, but people don't want to be let people be.
and you
Again,
just.
with that character, like what Dan said, the character and the monster mentality,
Mhm.
where
Mm,
the player can want to do it, but they have the choice to do it.
Yeah.
They want to, but they have
Mm.
the choice not to. So that's why they want to poke at people and see what happens. See what whether you break down, you whether you develop into a better person. And that's why it's really important for people to say that, is this within my control?
mm,
You know, is it
Mm.
mm,
a good perception of the good and the bad? You know, and
mm.
and it's really important to for people to have the morality in a basic way to know what's good and what's bad.
I think a majority
Yeah.
of people already know what good and bad means. It's just that they don't care. Honestly, in my opinion, right?
Mm.
Like there could
Mm.
be like
Right.
you might be thinking, wait, that's something he should understand. But he fully does, but he does it. He still does it, right? So
Mm.
it begs to question or begs to differ. What would be the point of it all? What would be his motive in doing, it, right?
Mm. That
Again, if
could
we go back,
also play
yeah,
into the background. Yeah.
Yeah, see?
And really, it depends on really on the culture. To be honest, it's not always about the person. It's about the person, how
Environment.
the environment, the culture, and how it influenced each person, and the output of that will be that person that you have encountered. And that's why I would say like culture sometimes have those like cons to it, especially for
Yeah.
crab mentality.
It inspires the the people who are in it to do these kinds of things. It motivates them
Exactly.
Yeah.
to create this
Every
kind of,
culture has an underworld, unfortunately. It's
yeah,
unavoidable. It's
Yeah,
human nature.
always
it
going
is.
back to that. Yeah. Right. So I guess
It's really hard.
hmm
But
Because then
so
again,
we
if
try to
we
sway from
criticize,
that.
mm,
yeah, if like
Mm,
if again, if we have to criticize one culture for one thing that we consider bad, we also have to consider humanity as a whole, because the thing that we find weird with them stems from a universal problem that they probably thought differently. So
mm,
it's just how it is.
man. Because I really want to sway from that culture. It's really hard, but I want to sway from like those culture re- that has that really bad perception on people, especially like crab mentality, those like racist stuff, you know, and try to be a person that is beneficial, beneficial in a way that they people don't use you. It's in a way that people would remember you, how they would remember you.
yeah, yeah,
Like take example like the Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar. They all did horrible stuff, yes, but
hmm
what they did to people, like the values and the the good stuff that they have
hmm
brought to people, they would remember that. They would etch that
hmm
in their books. And that's why
hmm
I would say the podcast, especially, is a tool for us to engrave our goodness into people and to sway from
hmm
all those bad cultures. You know?
hmm Again, like we can try to evolve here and there, but there's always a limit, unfortunately. Like, yeah, hopefully humanity reaches that point, but again, I'm very doubtful for that. If humanity, I know, really wants to improve itself, I know you weren't the first person to think of that proposition, of that
Yeah.
idea that humanity needs to improve. People have been doing it for centuries, even as they walked out of a cave. So yeah, like that's a sad thing. Like, yes, we can try to improve, but the best thing for people to improve is individually. But the problem is, uh,
it creates a different.
people as a group are stupid.
Mm,
Mm,
Uh, like, if you're gonna ask me, the society is an idiocracy. We're following people based on how quote unquote good they are, good
yeah.
looking, good in wealth, good personality, so on and so forth.
Uh,
So that's the sad part, man. Like, again, like, yeah, we can try to be good. We can try to be good, but we can't guarantee that. Humanity, though known for its countless achievements, is is still prone to evil. And
uh,
yeah,
always.
and yeah, like even though humanity itself is usually morally gray, we're more than capable of doing horrendous evil acts.
Hmm.
mm.
hmm So yeah.
I would say it's similar to what Dan said, like the character versus the monster,
hmm
where for the character, it seems that it's good to kill that monster because that
Mm-hmm.
monster was like devastating everything. But in fact, the monster was trying to do the other way around, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I would,
Mm-hmm.
I would agree to what you said too. And I think that's how humans, as a being, it's how we are.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
mean, you
how
can also,
we behave.
yes, you can also take it in consideration. Like
Mm-hmm.
humanity is its greatest creator and its utmost destroyer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
We could
Like
create ungodly in
mhm.
technologies, right? And then at
yes.
Mhm.
the same time, you could just use that the same talent, create
Mhm.
something equally destructive.
Mhm. Like well, let's go back to D&D.
Hmm.
Regarding I mean to correlate the current topic. Dan, since you are more seasoned in D&D, how advanced or how powerful is the presence of humanity in most D&D worlds? Like what's the most canon thing about the
Most
humans?
canon, let me tell you, one of the smartest race in the history, one of the oldest as well. Quote unquote, he said that humanity in D&D is a virus because they are
Mhm.
the most powerful, most efficient killers in the universe. In that universe, it's because of how well they could adapt to the
Mhm.
situation and how well they could find things or how easy for them to find it. Give them 200 years, they'll find a way how to kill this indestructible monster, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of races as well despise humans in D&D actually because of their destructive nature, where anything they step into, they lay waste upon. And
Mm.
not even the strongest creature of the D&D universe could match their destructive power throughout the years. Not even a god-killing monster, not even a man-eating beast, not even 100 feet dinosaur could match its powers in terms of destructiveness. And I guess it says a
Mhm.
lot about how we work, right?
Mhm.
Like it is a fact that we are the top predators of the world, but we don't have
Apex
fangs. No,
predators,
we are the apex
top of the
predators, right?
food chain.
Yeah, we're the
Yeah.
top of the food chain. That's a fact, right? But we don't have fangs like a tiger. We don't have
Mhm.
muscles as big as a silverback gorilla.
Mhm.
We're not a 50 feet ton walking truck with horns in the front, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is that what fear or what makes us the apex predator is knowing how to destroy something, right? How to efficiently create something so elegantly beautiful that it could probably destroy the entire world.
Mhm.
Something like that, something on a huge scale like that, like robot, yeah, like Robert Oppenheimer, right? He was
Oppenheimer,
responsible.
yeah.
Yeah, he was responsible for the Manhattan projects, which he created or he figured out how to split the uranium atoms into three and five, right?
Mhm.
And what he discovered was that wait, this could be used as a bomb. So they did. They did. They made the little boy and the fat man. They dropped it
Mhm.
in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and what happened? 40,000 dead.
Mhm.
And there was an interview actually about that where he stated Bhagavad or
Mhm.
a page from it where I have become destruction, where
I
Shiva was their
become death,
defense.
destroyer of worlds.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Mm.
He even explained when they dropped the bomb. Some people laughed, quote unquote, right? Some people laughed, some people cried, but most of them just stood there in silence because they were all in, they were in awe with the amount of destruction they have created.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I stand by what I say. We are our own greatest creator and our most destructive one.
Uh,
I see. Well, Jam, anything you want to add?
Oh man, that was like a well said, very well said. No
So,
words to that.
I see. I see. I
Yeah,
see.
man.
this is the bitter truth.
It's really true. Yeah,
Bitter truth right there.
Mm.
we
Thank
can
you,
only
DM.
kill ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, who else to battle humanity except humanity itself? Right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
I mean, the elves are just tree huggers who doesn't know how actual battle works, and look what
Yeah,
happened to
right?
them.
Yeah, now like they had to fight because what? The humans came in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
I
with that,
mean,
man,
like the orcs and stuff like that would the stuff the orcs would do in like the D&D world or in like Tolkien. It's small in comparison to what like Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, and Alexander did
Yeah,
in their
right?
time.
Oh my lord.
exactly.
And you say they're monsters? No,
I
not
Yeah,
even
mean,
man.
close.
the orcs are monstrous in their own right, but
Yeah,
yeah.
they're all right. But
It's a
that,
species. Yeah.
Hmm.
oh my lord.
Oh
Hi.
man, I think we could end with that, man.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
was kind of
thanks
dark,
for
but
coming, Dan.
yeah, I'd
Thank you for
love.
coming, Dan.
Thank you.
Do you want
Thank
to
you.
have
Thanks
any
for
shout
coming,
out?
then.
Oh
Do you have
yeah,
any one
And
shout out before you leave?
yeah. Actually, I'm also in
Socials?
a different I'm also in a different podcast, guys. So I'd love it if you guys check us out. But it's not as it's not as well written or well composed as JM's podcast. Shout out to JM's
man.
podcast, by the way, right? It's
Most of
called
this
the
stuff is
Apes.
improv, dude.
Yeah, well, like, dude, if you saw our podcast, we just talk about some random shit. Just to make a laugh out of it. But yeah, you could check us out on
What's the
YouTube,
name?
Apes Insight. You could check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. We also have a
Nice.
Twitter, but that's just I don't know what's happening there. But yeah, you can also check us out there.
I see. I
Um,
see.
Alright.
thank
Alright,
you
man.
thank you to JM as well for inviting me, as well as Eman.
No, man. Thank you.
No, thank you, absolutely, thank you. This was a great experience, and just to say
True
that I
that.
would love to come back. But yeah, thank you for inviting me again, man.
Yeah.
Holy,
Man, we could invite you again and again.
Yeah.
I would love that. I
When
would love that.
yeah. If you have a new podcast coming up, why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
a little collab. Here we go.
All right. We could do
Hey, why
that, right,
not?
Eman?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? When you have free time, why not?
And with that, you guys,
We
we
got
end this
at a close.
episode.
Hey,
With
Thank
that,
you.
guys, click that like button. It helps the channel a lot. Hit that subscribe if you want to hear more of us, and hit that notification bell if any upcoming videos are up. And with this episode will be our last, sadly, because due to academic reasons.
oh,
School,
no.
man, is just a big
College
bummer.
is a pain. College is a pain. We're nearly on our final year. We have to do stuff.
Yes. So that's why we're ending the podcast for this season.
Mhm.
Probably next summer we're gonna try to do it again, right, Iman?
Hey,
Yeah.
Probably.
When we finally stop becoming undergraduates and reach the achievement of being unemployed. Let's go.
oh,
Yes.
what?
Let's go.
Oh wow. Okay, now kind of hard, but yeah, it's true.
Too close to home.
Too close to home. Too close to home.
And with that,
Okay.
don't worry, you guys. There might be like
We'll be
pop-up
back.
episodes
Wish us luck.
now and then.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me,
And
guys.
Who
with
knows?
that,
Maybe by
guys,
the holidays we'll be around. See you guys around.
probably. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye
Yes.
bye.
Bye.
Bye. My God, that was fun.